My name is Eilis and I'm a nutritional therapist with Wild Atlantic Health. If I haven't met any of you before, what my role is in product training. My favorite thing about my role is going around meeting everybody, the health shop staff. I love having the chats and meeting all of you. So tonight we're going to answer questions that have come up over our time. Lilly and myself have been out and about a long time, and we've heard the different questions that come up time and time again, both from customers and from staff. So we're hoping to clear up a lot of questions and clarify things and give you an understanding of why the vitamin D from Wild Atlantic Health is different to the others on the shelves and help you to understand that when you're being asked questions. So I'm Eilis. I'm here in Dublin. I'm a nutritional therapist. I'm very passionate about health and well-being, and I love my role. I'm also the host of Health Waves podcast. If any of you'd like to give a listen, we're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I chat to other nutritional therapists and we talk about lots of things to do with nutrition and health. Over to you, Lilly.
Hi guys, my name is Lilly. I'm kind of looking after the Munster area, going around to health stores and doing product training and in stores. My background is I went to UCC and did a postgrad diploma in nutritional science, and I'm currently studying nutritional therapy with CNM. I'll be finished in June. I'm also a qualified personal trainer, so I just have this massive interest in health and fitness. I worked with Kind bars and All Real bars based in Kerry. I've worked in 2 health stores in Cork. Outside of that, I love being outdoors, hiking, walking my dog, going to the gym and relaxing and reading. So yeah, that's me.
Lovely. So will we get started with the overall
plan? So I suppose we sort of put together all the questions that we generally get asked during our in-stores and calling into stores, and we kind of group them into these 5 categories. We have product design, dosage, absorption, optimal levels, and concerns that people might have.
Right.
I suppose this bit here is just about the design of our capsule. We have the 3 fat-soluble vitamins, vitamin D, vitamin K, and vitamin A in there together. The capsule is microencapsulated and it's in extra virgin olive oil as well, which helps with absorption. When you're taking fat-soluble vitamins, you need a fat with it to help with the absorption. So with this extra virgin olive oil in there, it just aids that absorption, meaning you don't need to take it with a fatty meal. The purpose of the microencapsulation is that it improves the stability of the nutrients, preventing degradation. There's a lot of vitamin D products out there. Might contain K2, which is really important to get the calcium into the bone. Otherwise, it can actually circulate around the body. It can cause calcification around the heart. It can cause kidney stones. Just having that K2 in there helps with getting that calcium into the bone. Another thing that comes up a lot is why we have vitamin A in there. The vitamin A gets the D into the nucleus of the cell. It's also brilliant for skin health, great for immunity, and brilliant for viral infections as well.
What I love about our vitamin D is the synergy of the 3 ingredients together and how they work to enhance this product. We also know that high levels of vitamin D improve muscle strength and mass. And also it has an anti-aging effect in that it maintains genomic stability. It also helps with maintain mitochondrial function, reduces cellular, it mitigates the hallmarks of aging. So anything that's anti-aging, I love. Vitamin D, it's not really known out there. People don't talk about vitamin D as anti-aging or anything like that. It's more all about the immune and bone. But it does have these other components and benefits that aren't as much talked about.
Yeah. And I suppose just to add as well, the A that we use is in the preformed way. So then it means a lot of people can't actually convert the beta carotene into vitamin A. So by having it in this preformed way, it just allows us to absorb it better as well.
I remember reading about the absorption of the beta carotene in the European population. And I think I remember it was 47% of the population don't convert beta carotene into vitamin A. So that's a really important point about our vitamin A and how it's useful in the body. and also, Lily, the K2 in MK7 form, and that is more easily absorbed in that form. So that's another benefit of the K2 along with vitamin D3. So that's a nice little slide that gives us the food sources of the vitamin A. We find vitamin A in carrots, beef liver, and eggs. K2 comes from fermented foods, and our vitamin D3 usually comes from fatty fish like salmon. It also comes in mushrooms, which are grown in the sunshine.
So we added this slide because it's a great visual going through the benefits of our supplement. This is a great one to have printed out in the shop just to have a quick look. But I'll just go through it anyway. So it's a unique formula. So formulated by medical doctor and nutritional therapist in Ireland. We use it's a full 3-in-1 blend of your fat soluble vitamins. These work synergistically together. You have extra virgin olive oil for extra bioavailability. You also have, and this protects the ingredients from oxidation and degradation. So the way that it's encapsulated, it protects all the nutrients inside the capsule. Another unique selling point is our packaging. The box is fully recyclable and our bottle is compostable. A lot of people are environmentally conscious, and this is a great benefit. We've sourced all ingredients. They're high quality, sustainably sourced. And as well, our supplements, there's no excipients, there's no additives, no preservatives, colors, no gluten, no soy, no GMO, no lactose as well.
Yeah, and I think the sustainable packaging is important to a lot of people nowadays as well. I think that goes down really well, along with being an Irish company too. I think they're really helpful when selling to people who like to know those things. The dosage can be really confusing. The recommended daily intake at the moment is actually for babies and under 12 months, it's 200 IU. So it's international units is how you talk about vitamin D dosage. And children 1 to 4, still 200 international units, goes up to 400 for children from 5 to 12 years, and 600 for adults 13 to 64, age 65 and over. Now, back in 2021, the Oireachtas Joint Health Committee recommended that the adult dose should be increased from 600 to 800 to 1,000 IU. This was coming on foot of COVID and the immune response and what they were seeing, and to reduce risk of respiratory viruses, and then also to help with bone health, osteoporosis and that kind of thing. This was never implemented. I was delighted when I had seen this study back in 2021, or this report. Unfortunately, it was never implemented, but they were the recommendations. And they're still, as you can see, they're quite low, because I have over here, we can see that the insufficiency in Ireland, this was again back in 2021 when they did this study, and insufficiency means less than 50 nanomils per litre in the blood. You can see here that 18 to 39-year-olds, there's 47%. When you think of this age profile, the mood disorders and depression, this is a really high insufficiency level in this age group. This goes down to 35% between 50 and 59-year-olds. 64% in over 80-year-olds. This cohort wouldn't be getting out in the sun, and either they may not be supplementing, and their diet may be not as rich in vitamin D as well. And if you think of nursing home residents, that's like over 67% are insufficient, and really that's so sad, because they need it the most and they're the most deficient. Then the BAM communities, that they're 93%. This would mean that they have melanin in their bodies, which would naturally protect them from the effects of vitamin D in the sun. But because of this, they actually need more vitamin D when living in climates like ours in Ireland in particular. So really big insufficiencies, and that's under 50 nanomils per litre is an insufficiency. A total deficiency would be under 30, I think. Is it, Lily? I think it will be known as a deficiency. But insufficiency is still bad enough, because insufficiency means that you're increasing the risk of many different health issues and diseases. Yeah, I think that was it on that slide.
A common question we get asked is, do I need to continue my vitamin D supplement during the summer while we get more sunshine during the summer? You need to be outside between the hours of 10 and 3, and you need a lot of your body exposed, especially arms, legs, and back, for the highest vitamin D synthesis as well. And also, being outside as well without sunscreen, because obviously if you're wearing sunscreen as well, it's just you're not gonna absorb any vitamin D. So it's just getting outside without sun cream for a part of the day as well, without burning, obviously.
The hours of 12 to 3 are when the sun is at its best, when the UVB rays, when we can absorb them, which then convert it, help make vitamin D. That doesn't mean staying in the sun and getting burned. It's taking the sun very safely, maybe 10 to 20 minutes. That will definitely help. That vitamin D as well, you can't get too much from the sun. It has a cutoff point. We can take it very safely from the sun. But as we know, most people wear SPF. And once you've got SPF on, that's going to block the penetration of the UVB rays. And at the end of the day, the vitamin D. So that's where supplementation is really important, because everybody has been so good about protecting their skin from the sun that it has probably led to more insufficiency in vitamin D.
Yeah, exactly. I suppose as well, we get asked often when people are worried about overdosing vitamin D, and we've looked at a couple of research papers, and unless you're taking over 10,000 IU every day for an extended period of time, there's no worries about overdosing.
Yeah, you'd want to be out in a sunny climate, working out in the sun and supplementing to be at risk of getting too much vitamin D. I think it's more difficult to reach toxic levels, definitely. The sweet spot seems to be to reach levels of between 100 and 125 nanometer. And if you can keep it around that, and of course, the only way you're going to know whether you're at that kind of number is by testing. Testing is really valuable, because it's impossible for us to know. It's impossible for a doctor to look at you and know whether you're sufficient or insufficient or deficient. The only way you can know is by testing, and then you can really confidently supplement.
Yeah, exactly. So just moving on to absorption, there's a couple of different factors that affect our absorption. So, there are certain groups of people who actually need more vitamin D. And I suppose the first one of them is people with limited sun exposure. So those working indoors, night shift workers, they're just not getting barely any sunlight. People with darker skin, with high melanin, we already discussed this, that they have that extra protection level, so they're not absorbing as much. Older adults, this is because aging actually reduces the skin's ability to synthesize vitamin D. And unfortunately, they're more at risk of osteoporosis, osteopenia, breaking bones. So it is really important. It's crucial for them to have higher levels of vitamin D. The infants and young children as well. So breast milk is naturally low in vitamin D. So exclusively breastfed kids just aren't getting enough. So it would be worth possibly giving them a small dosage of a supplement. Certain medical conditions as well. So gut disorders, especially Crohn's, celiac disease, IBD, and also like autoimmune diseases as well. MS, you have rheumatoid arthritis. They also need higher vitamin D levels. Vegans and those with low dairy. And then individuals as well taking certain medications, so steroids, anti-seizure drugs, weight loss drugs, cholesterol lowering drugs. These can all interfere with vitamin D metabolism. And also pregnant ladies as well. Eilis, do you want to talk a bit about that, about pregnancy and vitamin D?
Yeah, well, we know that pregnancy, it's really important to take vitamin D, and that it can reduce the risks of, it can reduce many risks that for giving birth and pregnancy, I think, and gestational diabetes and preeclampsia and things like that. there was another, oh yeah, people who exercise a lot actually need to increase their dosage as well. And they actually use more vitamin D. And also that vitamin D works in a kind of synergistic way with exercise and has a protective benefit to brain health. So vitamin D and exercise is a benefit to cognitive decline and brain health. So that's another cohort that needs to take more, but actually has amazing benefits as well for brain health with exercise. There was a stat there as well, the SPF over 30, which is mainly kind of what people use. And it's actually really hard to even, for a lot of like women who wear makeup, there's now SPF of 30 in most brands of makeup and even moisturizers and stuff like that. And that actually blocks 97% of UV rays, reducing vitamin D production by 95%. So again, just, to remember that most people who are buying, who are in the health shops shopping, they probably have protection on them most of the year.
I thought it was interesting there, just going back, Eilish,
Yeah.
just the end of that study, just about how deficiency, pregnant women who have a low vitamin D status while they're pregnant can lead the infants to have a higher risk for lower bone mineral content, enamel defects, and attention deficit hyperactive disorders, which is an interesting one. We know. Yeah, and we know that it's prevalent, very high prevalence nowadays. So yeah, there could be a link there.
It is. It would make you wonder, because I do believe there is a bit of like an epidemic nearly of low vitamin D.
Mm-hmm.
And you would wonder if that's anything to do with that, along with I suppose other factors like low omegas as well. But definitely it's something that just shows how they're both so important during pregnancy. Yeah, I thought that was really interesting, and I hadn't actually come across that link before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going back to dosage as well. The European Food Safety Authority has actually reduced the upper intake to 3,000 IU per day, and just to let everybody know that safe upper level is actually 4,000 IU in the US. It has been reduced to 3,000 IU here. But so in our supplement, we have, it's a two supplement dose, and it's 3,000 IU. And these are the optimal ranges, as I was saying earlier, optimal being 100 nanomil or above. And I think that sweet spot is certainly kind of around 120, 125. Sufficient being over 50 or over. Insufficient between 30 to 50. And deficient is less than 30 nanomils per litre. And there may be risk of toxicity if you're over 125 nanomils per litre.
So I suppose we just added this in because we thought it was an interesting challenge. This is actually, if anyone wants to look at it, it's actually on our Instagram. But basically, we had a PhD student who took she tested her levels before, and they were down at 33.5 nanomoles. And then after a couple of weeks, she actually doubled her levels after 1 month. So we thought that was fascinating. So we felt we had to put that in. And yeah, it's available to watch anyway on our Instagram. It's just a little reel that you guys can watch.
I think that's a fascinating one. I mean, the numbers are amazing. So she was at 33.5, which is just above being insufficient, and that after such a short time, she just doubled.
Yeah,
which is incredible. And I know myself from taking it. I also my levels went way up as well, which I was delighted about. And actually, I'm just after remembering as well, back to the optimal levels and the dosage. Many people may not, if they have access or have already done any genetic kind of testing, they may be aware of whether they do or don't have a genetic SNP that may inhibit the absorption of vitamin D. I know that I actually have it. So I need to be very aware of my supplementing of vitamin D. And that kind of testing is becoming more popular. So, maybe more and more customers might know if they have that SNP or not. It's also quite common, I believe, in the Irish and the European population. But I have the SNP and my numbers went way up. So I know it works too. And I think we have another sample as well here, which is really interesting.
Yeah. So this guy, there's two guys working in this Hibernian healthcare, and they both did our test, and one of them took our supplement and the other one took a vitamin D spray that he had gotten. And actually, after 6 weeks, his results went from 102 nanomoles up to 178 nanomoles per liter. So a 74.5% increase from his starting point, which is pretty amazing. And then, as I said, then the colleague that was using the spray, then his only went up by 2 nanomoles per liter. So it just shows how, I suppose, how fantastic our product is and how you can get your levels up even just in 6 weeks.
Absolutely. And I think that goes back to as well, when people are at like, why is our product that bit, why is it expensive? Because, the sprays are really popular. They're at a fantastic price point. As your customers are going to come in and, vitamin D is vitamin D in their heads. And, it's really handy to have for their household. But at the end of the day, is it actually moving their numbers? And I suppose this is where we can stand over our product and see that it is moving the numbers. And also, so whilst it's there are cheaper products out there, I think when you look at the three ingredients, the quality, the potency, how they work together, and how they actually do what it says on the bottle, like they increase your vitamin D levels. At the end of the day, that's what people want.
Yeah. And guys, I've worked in health stores, and the amount of people that come back with these sprays and they've just stopped working. The spray has just stopped. And it could be, I don't know, maybe the K is getting stuck at the bottom. It's not mixing properly. So then your customers, while they think they're taking this spray that has D and K in it working together, they might not be getting the full amount, because if it is getting stuck, obviously they're not getting the full potential of that spray. So that's just something to be aware of as well.
It's also really important that bottle is shaken vigorously, because the K2 can become unstable, and that may not be known as well. So it mightn't be as I love this slide because healthy chews, we both know they're really, really popular.
Yeah.
Every second person seems to be on them. And Lily, you can go through all the ingredients there.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting because from working in the health store as well, I just know that the amount of particularly women over kind of age of 60, they're generally on Calci-Chew. And I suppose because their doctor has prescribed it, they think that that's the only supplement they can take and they will not listen to any other advice. But I suppose I've just put the other ingredients in there just so that you guys can see that it's not just vitamin D and calcium in there. There's a lot of additives, a lot of sugars in there as well that, have been added in just to make them taste nice. But unfortunately, this is reducing the product. So I suppose I wanted to highlight that, there are all these other ingredients in it, and that you're just trying to, I suppose the main thing is that there's no K2 in it. And if these people are on their Calci-Chew and without taking K2, there is that, I fear that calcification will occur, kidney stones. So just, I suppose, highlighting that to your customers that there is no K2 in it and how important it is to have it in their bone supplement.
Yeah. Back to like the importance of K2 as well. I think that's another, if you add the cost of a regular vitamin D3 supplement and the cost of a K2, again, ours is actually very good value for what you're getting. and the importance of K2, particularly like for everybody really. But I suppose I'm thinking of post menopause and postmenopause women. The risk of cardiovascular disease is actually way greater than the risk of breast cancer in Ireland for that age profile. And this is where I feel that our supplement plays a really significant role in, helping to ensure that calcium is absorbed into the bones and away from where it may do damage. It may bring on calcification or plaque buildup in the arteries. So it's really excellent in that way because it's heart protective, but it's also building on bone, helping to build bone strength and or maintain good bones and healthy bones for aging, which is so important. They're the two major concerns that people have with menopause and postmenopause with the decline of estrogen. So it's really, for me, it's a real no-brainer to take our supplement. I'm really passionate about that cohort, and so for anyone of that age profile going into the shop, I think it's a great one. Sorry, probably went off on a tangent there about that cohort because I get really annoyed about the calci chews being so popular. The dosage of vitamin A, that's something that's of concern. People, particularly, who in health shops, both the staff and the customers would often ask us about the vitamin A dose in our supplement. Is it safe for pregnancy? And this is a study here that's on this slide, and it highlights that when a dose of preformed vitamin A is above 10,000 IU per day, there may be a potential risk of teratogenicity.
Heterogenicity.
Thank you. So that is actually to do with any malformations in children. But actually, so they are saying that could be a potential risk, but that the reports show that any malformations that actually were reported were in mothers who had high doses of preformed vitamin A during pregnancy of over 25,000 IU per day. So they're really erring on the side of caution when they say that, potential risk when it's at over 10,000 IU per day. Because the research would say that any that were shown was in over 25,000 IU per day. So in our 2 supplement dose, we have 5,000 IU in our vitamin D3. So I suppose if you had a customer who was being extra cautious and very, very concerned about vitamin A, they could reduce it to a 1 supplement dose, and in that way they'd be getting 1,500 IU of D3 along with 2,500 IU of vitamin A and their K2. So that would be something to keep in mind. But other than that, it is safe during pregnancy.
Yeah. So just this is another nice visual and another one to keep in the shop. Just to remind people of the unique selling points of our product. So you're getting the highest dose of D3, K2, and A in a single synergistic supplement. You've 300 UGs of K2 in the MK7 form, 3 times higher than other brands. 100% natural, no nasties. Plenty of benefits. So bone health, cardioprotective, immunity, mood, prostate health as well, skin, eyes, healthy aging. The microencapsulation in the organic extra virgin olive oil and both fats, these actually increase absorption. You have your sustainability, high quality ingredients, biodegradable bottles, and as we saw from the results, double dosage in, I suppose, a couple of weeks, much better than sprays.
Yeah, I think that's it in a nutshell. That's actually a great slide, to have at the desk or in a health shop, because it sort of ticks all the boxes there with everything really, and yeah, it's just in my opinion, it's a super product. Have we anything else to add?
I don't think so. I suppose we can see if anyone has any questions for us.
Okie dokie.
I suppose we could just chat about the testing as well. just how, I suppose, how easy it is. And, you can do it in the comfort of your own house. It's very simple, painless as well. It's just a finger prick test. You download the app, you register your test, and you'll get your results back within kind of 10 to 14 days. And I'll just show you exactly what sort of level you're at as well. So rather than just kind of guessing what your levels might be at, it is worth doing the test just to kind of see exactly where you are.
Yeah, and if anyone has any questions, they can pop them into the chat box there.
Yeah.
And we can answer anything that comes up. Yeah, I was reading research earlier about dementia and aging, and there was a pretty large study done actually among 12,000 dementia-free adults, and it showed that after 5 years of supplementing with high dose vitamin D, there was 40% lower risk over a decade. And 84% of the users were dementia free after 5 years, whereas 68% of non-users were dementia free. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
So higher number of people were dementia free from supplementing with vitamin D. The greatest benefit was seen in women, those who were non-carriers of the ApoE4 gene, the one that's involved in higher risk of dementia, and Alzheimer's, and those without depression, starting out without depression. The dosage and optimal levels were still a little unknown, but the link between vitamin D supplementation and brain health was just too great to be ignored. So it enhances brain function. As I was saying, synergistically with exercise for memory and in the areas of the brain where memory and cognition lie, and then the healthy aging as well, maintaining genomic stability and mitochondrial function, and then also improving muscle mass and bone strength. Again, they'd be kind of healthy aging too. And then also facilitating calcium homeostasis and bone health. So what we were saying earlier about regulating calcium absorption and bone remodeling and reducing the risk of osteoporosis and fractures. So, for both brain health and physical health, there's now so much evidence. Like we've come so far when you think about it, that the evidence, up till a few years ago was all about just sort of bone health and rickets and bone. And now they've, we really know that it's involved as it's a steroid, it acts as a steroid hormone, and there's receptors everywhere, and it's just involved in so much.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very interesting, actually.
Yeah.
So we have a question there. I heard somewhere that vitamin D3 is absorbed through the eyes and the skin, of course. Well, it's definitely absorbed through the skin. I'm not too sure about the eyes. Do you know anything about that?
I know. I knew I would get a question that I wouldn't be able to answer. I wonder, I'm going to go and find out about that.
Yeah.
Viva, hello, how are you? Lovely to chat to you, and I'll be talking to you, I'm sure, soon. I will find out. I mean, there is a lot of evidence now about this whole thing about looking at the morning light and it having an effect on like the pineal gland and producing melatonin for melatonin for later in the day. So, I mean, maybe it does have something. Maybe there is some kind of mechanism whereby it helps absorb it, but I'll have to look into it. This is what I kind of about this. I'm always challenged with another question. I think I know it all, and then until I realize I don't.
I know.
Well, I'm glad you can't remember where you heard that. Okay, I'll have to do my homework and get back to you. Thank you. Anything else that I can answer?
Yeah, guys, if you have any questions, you can just pop them into the little little chat box there and we'll answer them we'll try answer them for you anyway.
Lily, how have you found the supplement? Have you tested lately?
My most recent blood test, I was 120 nanomoles. So the lady who did my bloods was like, oh, wow, you're definitely taking your vitamin D anyway. So that was back in, I think that was back in October. So I'm definitely it's time to try testing it again.
Yeah, maybe before the summer, at the other end of the summer, or something like that. I would recommend for people to test like both, if possible, twice a year, like at the end of the summer, going into the winter, so you know how best to supplement, and then maybe, if possible, then again at the end of the winter. So then you'd know whether you need to continue into the summer. I mean, the recommendations from the government guidelines, the ads on the radio and stuff are recommending people to supplement between, isn't it, Halloween, I think, and St. Patrick's Day, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But again, that's kind of supplementing into the unknown, and you could be leaving yourself insufficient in the months if you're taking, if you're covering yourself in SPF, if you're not out in the sun, if you're all of the things that we were talking about. Yeah, so just to be mindful of that.
Stefan said, hi ladies, great presentation. Quick question, is the product suitable for vegetarians and or vegans? We were actually talking about that earlier when we did our practice run.
Yeah. So it is, I suppose we do have vegetarians and some, taking our fish oils, as we were saying earlier. The vitamin D is animal sourced in that it is from the lanolin from sheep's wool. So a vegetarian will probably feel okay taking it. A vegan may not. Again, it will be up to them whether they want to compromise on their health, or some vegans will decide that it's more important for them to take a supplement if it's not fully aligning with what they believe.
Yeah.
So it's not vegan friendly is the answer.
Yeah, because we also use the fish gelatin capsule as well. So it just kind of depends on, different people have different views, depending how
strict.
Exactly. Yeah. So if there is no more questions, then we've obviously done a great job. So I thank you everyone for joining us tonight, and we hope that you enjoyed it, and we hope that you picked up some valuable information as well.
And we will be sending out a recording of the presentation to the shops, so with staff, and maybe they'll be able to pick up some pieces from it. Yeah. Okay. Thanks so much, Catherine.
Thank you, Catherine.
Fabulous training. That's great to hear.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Well, we say good night then. Lovely to chat to everybody, and we'll see you all soon.
Great. Thanks, guys. Thank you for joining us.